Found out tonight that my mom has been cheating on my dad. I need advice. Growing up, I received the love and affection from both my parents. Family have always been my weakness. Anything bad involving my family, I always feel most stressed and anxious. My parents are always fighting, and it became a normal thing in my life. Everything was going great until I found out that my mom is cheating on my dad. I first found out on early 2020 and I was 14 at that time. My mom picked me up from school as always. She was waiting for me inside the car and was on a call. I got in the car and sat in the passenger seat at the back waiting for her to finish the call. She wasn't on speaker, so I did not know who she was talking to. I just knew that it was a guy since I heard a bit of his voice, so I just assumed that it's her coworker or a friend, which I didn't think much about it. The call goes on for another 2 minutes, which then I heard that guy said "I love you" to her. That shocked me so much. I wish I misheard that. My mom tenses a bit, then took a glance at me from the rear mirror, then the call ended. The person she was on call with was definitely not my dad. My parents never said "I love you" to each other anyways, especially my dad. Even if it was my dad, I would definitely remember his voice. The call wasn't on speaker, but I heard everything. My mom looked worried and acted strange. She then turned back to me asking some weird questions that she never asked before out of anxiety. I decided to not question her about it, then continued my day. It got stuck in my mind for days. Then I decided to look into it further. I got her phone password and went to the call history to see who she called was in call with that day. Then I realized that he was her coworker that she met at work every day. I was in disbelief, but I needed more evidence to confirm that my mom is really cheating on my dad. My mom uses WhatsApp regularly to text with people. When I looked in the chat box of my mom with him, I noticed that their messages was deleted. That makes me even more curious of why she deleted it. I knew that they were texting every day because it leaves a timestamp with no messages on their chat box. I decided to install a notification saver on her phone to see their texts, and it worked. I see all kinds of messages that I didn't want to see from him. I never knew my mom would do this to our family. She was the best mom ever and was my role model. It makes me so disappointed in her action. Since the app was a notification saver, I didn't see what she wrote to him, but I took screenshots of everything and sent it to my phone. But seeing his messages made my heart sink and I cried uncontrollably. It was the worst feeling ever. Every day after my mom comes back home from work, I always sneak into her phone to see those messages and check what they are up to each day. There wasn't a day when I read those messages and not cry. It just pains me so much. They were calling each other cute names, saying "I miss you" and "I love you" regularly. It grosses me out when I saw him in the text calling my mom his wife. They always plan to go out together after work. Since they work at the same place, it's easier to meet. I started digging more and found out that he had a wife and a daughter that is currently working. They always post pictures of their family, which makes me feel sad for them not knowing what the head of their family is doing behind their back. One day, I was too upset at my mom and said, "I know your love life secret," then stormed up to lock myself in my room. It took about an hour for her to unlock my door. She came and sit on my bed and asked me why did I say like that. "Was it because you saw the condoms in my suitcase from last week?" she said. That stunned me for a bit. I never knew about the condoms that she was talking about since I never go through her suitcase. I never knew that they slept together before. The furthest that I thought they did was just kissing. I stayed quiet. She then explained that it was from a guest house that gives out condom in each room for free during her business trip last week, which I knew that her coworker obviously went together with her, even though I knew that my mom loves to bring free things home from hotel like shampoo, shower gel, show cap, toothbrush and etc. I didn't completely believe that it was from the guest house. She said sadly she is already in her mid-50s and she is too old to be cheating. She told me to apologize to her for saying that. I did apologized and cried so much because I felt bad for saying that to her. I didn't completely believe her, but it did made me feel like a shitty daughter. There was always a business trip at my mom's workplace, so I don't get to check her phone often. So I installed a WhatsApp web app on my tablet to see her real-time messages even without her phone. I check regularly, which then it basically became a habit of mine. She deleted their messages every time they finished texting to not get caught, so I never left the app so I could see what they are up to, since I have a weakness for my family. I never failed to cry when I see those disgusting messages. Every single day on my mom's business trip, at midnight he always texted my mom asking for her room number and asked her to open the room. Of course, she went to open the door or else she would have already declined him or refused to tell her room number on text. only God knows what was going on inside that room. I didn't know what to do, so I kept calling her until she picked up. She picked up after 6 calls and got mad at me. She said that I was supposed to be sleeping and said I was disturbing her sleep since she was too tired from work. Then she proceeds to turn off her internet at me. I was at my lowest point that time. I felt miserable. I do not know what else to do to stop them and cried myself to sleep. Her business trip goes on for a week and it happens every day. Same texts, same response. There were many business trips that my mom went this year since COVID in our country have gotten so much better. She is currently on a business trip right now. He picked her up at my house 3 days ago. I knew because I read their chat from the night before my mom's trip. She told him to not come out of the car, scared that my dad or me might saw him. My mom was acting suspicious. She told me to not come out to send her in the car and told me to go back to sleep since it's still early in the morning. I really wanted to see his face, so I said it was okay, I'm not sleepy anymore. She yelled at me and closed the front door at my face. This put me in melancholy mood until now. I didn't bother texting her or calling her even though I knew that guy was in her room every night. I was too mad at her. I still check her WhatsApp messages through my tablet regularly. I can truthfully say that this completely destroys my mental health. I just wish she comes back home safely from her trip. I still love her very much regardless her actions. There was a time when I asked my friend from another country to send my mom's coworker a threatening message. He is a very close friend of mine and agreed to help me. Since I didn't want to get caught and didn't want them to know that the message was from me, so I asked my friend, which obviously his WhatsApp number is a foreign number. The message said, "I know what you are doing right now, so stop it. Or else I will tell your wife and daughter." This was translated from my language. I was still monitoring their texts at the time. A minute later he sent my mom a screenshot of the text and asked if it was from her. My mom said she had no idea, then they freaked out. After some time they calmed down and assumed that the messages was just a prank from one of his friends. It angers me because the messages did not stop them from cheating. I never wanted to tell my dad about it. I don't want my family to be separated. The thought of them getting a divorce completely destroys me. I can never let that happen. There were times that I wanted to tell my dad about it but scared that it's gonna hurt him. I know that my dad deserves to know everything about this, but the relationship between my parents was already pretty bad. They sleep in different rooms and got into a fight every day. I don't want their relationship to get any worse than this. I did try to give hints to my dad several times, but I don't think he gets it. She is the best mother for me and always will be, but she is the worst wife to my dad. I felt guilty and sad for my dad every time I see him. I felt bad for him that I couldn't even look at him directly or else I would cry. He is such a good person and didn't deserve all this that is happening. I think the reason that leads my mom to have an affair is that my dad wasn't a romantic person at all. He doesn't buy flowers or give anything to her on their anniversary or on her birthday at all. I've never seen them kiss before in my entire life. Being romantic was just not my dad's type of thing. But he never forget their anniversary or her birthday. He always remembers them. I have no idea how long did my mom and her coworker start having an affair, but I am sure that it's been more than 5 years. Ever since I found out about the affair at the start of 2020 until now. I still hold my anger towards her, but I do not have the courage to tell my dad about it. My family is my everything. I would rather die than seeing my family getting separated. I have a little brother which I care about him the most. I knew telling my dad would affect his life, and it's another reason why I'm keeping my mouth shut. I am genuinely scared of what's going to happen. I got screenshots and everything. Should I show it to my dad? But this could potentially ruin our family, which I'm most scared of. Please help me. Comments. Crusader Cafe says, just tell your mom you know, but don't tell her how. Tell her you know which guy and that if she doesn't come clean to your dad, that you will have to tell him. Maybe they won't break up, you never know. If not, this won't stop. And obviously they have intimacy issues that need to be worked out. This is the normal reason for cheating. They can go to a marriage counselor to work it out. The fact is that your dad is the victim and your mom the perpetrator. You can't protect her to victimize him. She got caught, period. Do the right thing. Edit. Just wanted to say sorry that you have to be put in the middle like this. It's really unfair, but hopefully it all works out. Pettyfan1234 says, her manipulation of you doesn't make her a good mom. Honey, tell your dad and his wife. They don't deserve loving families. She knows you know about the affair yet continues on. She is selfish and self-centered. She is disrespectful of you, your family and his family. Good luck and update please. Thumbedick says, honestly, you just need to stay out of grown folks' business. You interfering is not going to help your mom and dad reconcile, and you're just putting more stress on yourself.